Henry didn't get arrested after he killed his first wife, did he? What sort of mistakes did the Tudor police make that led him to kill again? In the Middle Ages, did they know it was the Middle Ages, or did they just think, this is now? You know, how did they know that they were halfway through time?
They thought this is now, and they thought they're incredibly advanced. This is the greatest moment that society would reach to.
It'd be amazing, wouldn't it, to get a Tudor back that we could resuscitate,
yes,
cryogenically or something.
Yes.
And then show him what had happened since he died. It would blow his mind, wouldn't it?
It would. The internet.
The internet. Google.
Cars. Aeroplanes.
Fitbit watches.
Fitbits.
So what was wassailing? Is that like a sort of bit like bants now?
What's bants?
Bants, it's like when someone's acting like a prick.
Oh, really? What it is basically a group of people, usually a group of men, go around from house to house with a big bowl of drink, and they knock on your door and they sing songs, and the idea is that you're going to swap a drink from their bowl for a gift.
So it was a bit like trick-or-treating then, was it?
It was very like trick-or-treating.
I mean, what sort of costumes would they do? Because they were already sort of covered in shit, weren't they, with, like, slugs on them and mud and everything.
They didn't usually wear costumes, but it was also a way of creating community cohesion, going from house to house. It was something that was supposed to be fun as well. So that's really the very early beginnings of going from house to house singing carols.
Henry created the Church of England, didn't he? Did he have to find a British pope?
He didn't need to find a British pope. You could just have bishops. You can just use the bishops and people that you've got in there already.
If you had to find a British pope now, who would you go for?
You couldn't use the Archbishop of Canterbury.
No, you have to have someone else.
Someone from without the church.
Yeah, like Matt Baker off The One Show.
So you're Matt Baker off The One Show.
He's not an obvious choice, you see. That's why I think he'd be good. But the more you think about it, the more it makes sense. Where did Father Christmas come from?
Well, Father Christmas comes from St. Nicholas, and he is a 4th century Greek saint and bishop, and he was very renowned for giving presents to the poor, and particularly he gave presents to these 3 girls. If he hadn't given them the money, they would have had to go off and be prostitutes.
So why was he knocking about with these prostitutes?
I don't think he knew them very well. It's just that they...
Well enough to give them gifts.
Give them money. I think he just wanted to save them from the horrors of... I think because basically...
They all say that, don't they?
They do.
How come shops have Father Christmases, but they don't have Jesuses? Is Jesuses the right term? Is it Jesus, or...
I think we'd say figures of Jesus.
Figures of Jesus.
I think that Father Christmas himself would probably have preferred there to be figures of Jesus, because in fact there is a medieval story. St. Nicholas got in a punch-up about whether or not God or Jesus was greater and was thrown into prison. So he was obviously very exercised about the purity of religion.
It's all coming out, isn't it? You know, because like I didn't know that he used to hang about with prostitutes or get into fights. Now I'm feeling less happy with him coming down my chimney.